Hello.
Welcome. Hey.
Hey. No, wait. What do you...
Steve, you know I always go first.
Dennis, get out of my way. It's my turn.
You had a turn recently, and now it's my turn.
Okay, fine. Then just introduce the episode or whatever.
Thank you. Welcome to the Pizza Bros podcast. This is Dennis and...
Steve.
This is episode 30, The Low Speed Chase.
Tuesday, 2 p.m. Dennis and Steve wait for a delivery to finish and kill some time by chit-chatting by the driver's table. Dennis pops open a pill bottle and takes a small prescription pill. He sets the bottle back down on the delivery table and continues his conversation with Steve.
Look at this delivery,
insists Dennis as he points to the house he has to deliver to on the map. Wow, that's like on the furthest edge of our delivery area, replies Steve.
They've all been like that lately. I wonder why,
ponders Dennis aloud. Little does Dennis know that even though Bikini Pizza was located directly across the street from them, their delivery area was much smaller than Pizza Bros, and that was the cause of all their faraway deliveries lately. Pizza Bros was simply receiving all the orders that Bikini Pizza wouldn't fulfill. I think I've put more miles on my car in 1 month than I would in 2 or 3 normally, laments Steve.
I guess it's not all bad.
Dennis begins.
Gives me plenty of me time. 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back, and a few minutes to talk to the customer. Plus, I'm sick and tired of folding pizza boxes. Dennis's
order is now ready. He puts it in a pizza bag and heads out the door. He carefully places the pizza in his car and drives out of the Pizza Bros parking lot. Normally by now, Dennis would have turned on one of his favorite public radio shows. But today is different. Dennis feels different. He skips past public radio and finds his favorite jam band album and loads it into his music player.
Yeah, this is totally the mood right now,
Dennis thinks as the first opening chords of Black Dog Ramble play over his car stereo. Behind Dennis, a Chesterwood PD police SUV pulls up. Inside the SUV is a police officer and a camera crew for Get 'em Coppers.
We're on a standard patrol around the Chesterwood area right now,
says Officer Danvers as he narrates what is happening around him for the TV show crew.
Chesterwood is usually a pretty quiet place, but you never know when the action is going to kick up,
he continues. Officer Danvers looks away from the camera and notices Dennis's car.
As you can see, the vehicle in front of us has a brake light out,
states the officer as he flicks his switches to turn on the lights for his police cruiser.
Most people don't even realize when they have a light out,
he continues.
So I'm going to pull him over and let him know about it.
Back in Dennis's car, he rocks out to his music, completely oblivious to the lights and siren of the police cruiser behind him. In his own world, he plays air guitar and drums the steering wheel to the rhythm of the music.
I love this song,
exclaims Dennis, his eyes slightly glazed over. For some reason, this album hits Dennis just right and changes his mediocre day into a great one. Dennis sees the turnoff for his favorite side road shortcut and takes it. As Dennis slowly and responsibly drives down the road, the police cruiser continues its pursuit of Dennis for a mile or so.
We've run into a bit of a situation here. The driver we are attempting to pull over isn't responding and is leading us on a bit of a, well, I guess you'd call it a chase. I mean, we're only doing 20 miles per hour, but refusing to pull over is sending us on a chase. I'm going to have to call for backup, just in case the situation degrades rapidly,
the officer informs the camera crew. Officer Danvers picks up his radio.
This is Unit 195. We have a 1262 in progress on Wild Pony Road, requesting backup, over.
This is dispatch. Rerouting units to intercept. Over,
responds the dispatcher over the radio.
Looks like we'll have some backup soon,
Officer Danvers informs the camera crew. Back in Dennis's car, he continues rocking out, seemingly unaware of the impending danger that will soon overtake him. He turns onto a residential street and the police cruiser continues to follow him. Behind Officer Danvers, another police car pulls up and it too has its lights and sirens blaring full blast. Dennis looks in his rearview mirror and only sees a large white SUV riding his bumper extremely close. He is completely unable to see any of the police cruiser's flashing lights.
Jeez, get off my butt, dude.
Dennis says aloud to himself.
Doesn't this guy know there are kids in this neighborhood? How irresponsible.
Dennis rolls down his window, sticks his hand out, and lazily gestures for the cars to go around him. Officer Danvers sees Dennis's gesture, but instead of taking it as a sign for go around, he mistakenly interprets it as aggressive. Something his supervisor has counseled him about lately.
Looks like this has now become an actual chase. I'm going to call this into dispatch.
The officer again calls dispatch for additional assistance. Seeing as none of the officers in the quiet, safe town of Chesterwood have anything else to do, they quite literally send in the cavalry. Officers around the Chesterwood area mobilize, and 2 officers head to a police helicopter to join in the chase.
The objective at this point is to bring the suspect into custody by ending this pursuit safely and without injuring any bystanders.
Officer Danvers informs the camera. Off-screen, the production crew grins ear to ear, and the on-site producer can see television awards in his future for the brilliant coverage of this chase. Back at the Pizza Bros store, a bored Steve flicks through the free, local, over-the-air channels on their old 1990s TV. As he flicks off of a commercial, he sees an exciting police pursuit from a helicopter's point of view. 10 cop cars chase a black hatchback through an affluent neighborhood. Police chase in Chesterwood, Steve reads aloud. Pausing for a moment, he looks intently at the screen. Oh, how exciting! This isn't too far away from us. Too bad Dennis isn't here to see it. Get Him Coppers is one of his favorite shows. On the screen, the helicopter's camera zooms in on the car that is being pursued. Steve can see an arm come out of the window and lazily gesture for the cop cars to go around him. Huh, what a joker. Like the cops are just going to go around the guy, Steve thinks to himself. Steve takes a sip of his soda, and as he does, the helicopter camera suddenly zooms in on a tight shot of the driver in the black hatchback. Steve can clearly see that the driver of the hatchback is Dennis. He spits his soda out of his mouth and all over the driver's table. Ed? Ed, get over here! Steve yells loudly. Ed saunters over lazily. What? Look! Insists Steve as he points at the TV screen.
Oh, a police chase? Here? In Chesterwood? Weird,
comments Ed. That's Dennis! Exclaims Steve.
What? No way,
replies Ed dismissively. Ed studies the TV screen and the camera cuts to Officer Danvers' cruiser where you can clearly see Dennis's face.
Ah!
Laments Ed loudly.
Do you have any idea how much paperwork I'm going to have to do because of this?
Back in Dennis's car, completely unaware of the danger he is in, finds the house he is looking for. He parks his car, grabs his pizza, and walks towards the door. As he lightly jogs towards the front door, the police cruisers all come to a halt and surround the house with military precision. The cops exit their vehicles with haste, their weapons drawn, and wait for Dennis to make one false move. Dennis knocks on the front door, the customer answers, and suddenly a voice comes over a PA system.
Stop! We have you surrounded. Do not enter the house. Drop your weapons. Lower yourself slowly to the ground.
Terrified, the customer slams the door shut, and a confused and drugged up Dennis turns around to see that he is in real, terrible danger.
Ah!
Screams Dennis, who throws the pizza bag and drops to the ground. Steve and Ed watch with palpable horror as the cops swarm Dennis, place him in handcuffs, and put him in the back of a police cruiser. Later that afternoon, Dennis is released without charge and Steve picks him up from the police station. Dennis leaves the holding area and walks into the waiting area with a bag of his possessions in hand. Steve looks down at Dennis's shoes. What happened to your laces? Steve asks.
They took them. They're in the bag, though,
says Dennis with a frown.
I learned something today, Steve.
Oh yeah, what's that? Asks Steve.
If your medication says, do not operate a vehicle while taking this medication, they mean it.
The end.
Do you guys have any idea how much paperwork I now have to do because of you two, Dennis and Steve?
Look, it wasn't all my fault. I wasn't really doing anything wrong to begin with.
Yeah, Ed, how is it even my fault? I didn't do anything. Dennis is the one who took drugs and then went driving.
Hey, that is prescription medication. And I didn't read the label. Sorry.
Next time, you need to read that label. and I'm going to have to do all this paperwork. So while I do those paperwork, you guys just head over to therealpizzabros.com, and you can get books and more podcast episodes, and you can sign up for social media, and I don't know, maybe there's coloring pages on there or something. I don't really know. I don't think there is, but maybe there is. You should go check it out and then tell us. And don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and tell your friends. And don't forget, without you, we'd have 0 audience.